Prison doesn't do many people any good, but for a heroin user, it's the last place that they need to be. It's abuse on top of abuse, because the majority of problematic heroin users, in fact the majority of problematic drug users of any type, are self-medicating for some kind of personal trauma. So to send them to prison is an unbelievably cruel thing to do. But there are some interesting things about the economics of the drug supply in prison. Now, of course, the fact that any prison in the world you can get hold of drugs makes a great mockery of prohibition, because if you can't keep drugs out of a prison, which you can't, then how can you possibly hope to keep drugs out of the whole of society? And from the people that I've spoken to in conventional policing and from undercover policing, it's an accepted fact that you can get any drug that you wish inside prison. But there are some interesting economic aspects to it. In prison, generally speaking, drugs are 5 times more expensive than on the outside, because it becomes a rarer, more, a commodity worth a lot more money. So if you've got a heroin habit and the heroin is 5 times more expensive and you're not really in a position to earn money, there are various ways that you can be exploited, and ways that people are exploited. Now, you have to bear in mind that the groups that supply the heroin on the outside of the prison are the same groups that supply it on the inside of the prison. So they know who you are, they know who your family are, they know who your friends are, they know where you live when you come out of prison. So if you are desperate enough to want that supply while you are in prison, the only option is to build up a debt. Now, sometimes police colleagues over the years have said to me, well, he's just come out of prison, he must love it in there, because the day after he's come out, he's done a burglary. He just can't wait to get back into prison. Well, the reason is that debt can get so huge, and the threats of violence to pay that debt can be so terrifying, that no, of course someone doesn't want to go straight back to prison, but they've got no choice. So sending someone to prison where they build up enormous debts increases the amount of crime, and it increases the amount of pressure on people that already are under massive amounts of pressure before they were sent to prison. It's incredibly destructive. But there's one aspect of how that debt can be collected that I have heard happen. And during my time working undercover, this is something that was talked about. And that is that family members of those problematic heroin users are sexually exploited. Because threats that can be used can be quite horrific. Family members know that when that person is inside those walls, they are vulnerable. And it doesn't take very much explaining to potential relatives or loved ones, partners, children. It doesn't take too much explaining that those people in those walls are at their mercy. And there is all sorts of exploitation goes on to pay those debts. And in no civilized society should that kind of exploitation be going on because somebody has got a problem with a drug. If that person was able to get assistance with their health, if it was treated as a health issue, none of that spiralling corruption, none of that spiralling exploitation would be possible.